Today marks the 1-year anniversary of my Kaiju-centric analog horror series, A Town Called Whitewater. To celebrate, I watched the entire series on stream and reacted to it, giving my thoughts on all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Mind you, I hadn't seen this series in exactly a year, so it's been a while. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the small but progressive town of Whitewater, Wisconsin. Today, we'll be going through the history of the town and the people that make it all happen. Our great town was founded almost 150 years ago in 1837. The man behind it all was Morris Pratt. It took a lot of time, but eventually, it was molded into our founder's image. The crowning achievement of Pratt's efforts was the creation of the Stair and Water Tower.
Okay, really quick. So some backstory behind this as we're kind of getting into the actual series. The idea was we take Whitewater, Wisconsin, which is one of the most haunted towns in the world in terms of like real life type stuff. It's claimed to be like second Salem. You know, Salem is apparently very haunted as well because of the history behind it. And so I kind of wanted to adapt this urban legend of sorts into a series that involved all the things that I love in horror. So cults, kaijus, all types of stuff like that. It's all in this series. So the general gist is it's an alternate history where this guy here. So yeah, this guy, Morris Pratt, is a real guy. And the history behind him is that he founded this spiritualist college. And that was it. Like, there wasn't really anything specific. And I just thought, wouldn't it be neat if we take this specific figure here and we make him into this, like, demonic cult leader type guy? And it's not really commentary on anything. I just thought that it would be fun to be like, what if La Person was La Bad? And that's kind of what this all is. So it's like an alternate history where Morris Pratt was this evil guy who wanted to blend spiritualism and technology to create this cult. And my biggest influence for this was Mechanicus, which is a faction from 40K. And their whole thing is kind of blending in technology and technology really being their main thing. So that was the main gist. The general idea was it's alternate history where we blend the fictitious of Whitewater, you know, like the legends of it, and we make it more or less its own kind of thing.
The
crowning
achievement of Pratt's efforts was the creation of the Stair and Water Tower. Constructed in 1889, this structure housed President John F. Kennedy even visited the town during his presidency to discuss very important matters with the aging Morris Pratt. One of the most shocking and strange moments in our town's history occurred on February 7, 1970, when the old main building on the university campus burned down. 28 classrooms were lost in the fire, but thankfully no souls were lost in the blaze. The total cost of the damage is estimated to be around $3 million, and to this day, the hooligans responsible have never been identified. Looking to the present and even the future, our fearless town leader Morris Pratt III will help take Whitewater into a new golden age of spiritualism and technology. We hope you learned a lot from this audio-visual presentation.
All right, so let's go over this, and we'll kind of go over all the little secrets and behind-the-scenes stuff, because I made this. And yeah, people in chat are saying JFK. Yeah, JFK was part of this. So we'll go here first, and we'll kind of talk about this. In actuality, this was just like a water tower that the town built. And it's explored more in the next episode, that there are these like spikes that kind of go in, and it's outside of the actual tower and like a gate. So this here was kind of fun to make. A lot of people assumed it was Blender, and what it actually was a still image that I just ripped off Google of the actual like inside of this tower, and then I had it where it's like kind of moving like this. I just added in like a shake in post, and that was it. And then I just added in the red using just basic color correction. So, which the reason for all this is going to be explained later on. here's what everyone's commenting about. So John F. Kennedy. Why is John F. Kennedy included in this? Well, I had plans for a sequel series, and it was A Town Called Whitewater Volume 2. The original title for this was A Town Called Whitewater Volume 1. And Volume 2 would have actually been centered more around John F. Kennedy, and specifically this cult that constructed this giant tower was working with Kennedy. And the reason why he was assassinated was because he was going to betray the cult. And part of the reason for his inclusion and why he was for real in Whitewater, Wisconsin, way back in the 60s, is because his sister, Rosemary, was actually living near Whitewater at the time because she had mental problems. And the story was going to kind of hint at that, but we weren't ever going to use her because that's wrong, like ethically. So the idea was, though, John F. Kennedy would have been involved with this sort of cult, and then they were indirectly in charge of his assassination. So that's why he's included here. This is more of a setup for season 2, and while I would like to make season 2, I do have other projects that I do want to work on.
F. Kennedy even visited the town.
So this is more or less setting it up.
Discuss very important matters with the aging Morris Pratt.
And this here also happened in real life, and this was a building near the university that burned down. And this was going to actually take place, too, in Volume 2, where it would have been set more in the 60s, and it would have been more film archives, and I was actually going to film it on actual super 8mm film with some of the stuff. But the gist of it was that it was going to be this like a revenge plot. So Morris Pratt I was the guy that built the actual town. Like this was mentioned earlier on here. Well, his son, Morris Pratt III, who's there, is the guy that's running the place. And so what would have happened was Morris Pratt II would have been kind of like the prodigal son who was rebelling against this cult that his family has been building up. And that's kind of what season 2 would have been building up towards. And that it would have ended with him burning this building down because the building was housing their facilities. And so, again, a lot of this is setting up 2 rather than 1, but it's also laying out all the groundwork. Someone asked, how long did it take you to make this? So I actually made episode 2 first, as weird as that sounds. And then I made episode 1, but I posted 1 first, then 2. I made episode 1 back in January, and episode 1 was also January of 2023, and we wrapped up this first series or season or whatever you want to call it near like August. So it took me 8 months to make basically this 25-minute long video because there's just so much here. So we will now go on to episode 2 because this is the gist of it. I will come back to these names because they are actually important, especially Bob Hunnam. Remember the name Bob Hunnam because in episode 4 right here, that's huge. He's actually a significant character. So episode 2, this is called Student Film 1993.
You know, I don't know how the camera works, right? I think.
So the gist of this opening, by the way, because just to kind of avoid any confusion, I'll kind of explain it too. So this is supposed to be like a fake movie that a younger version of my character and Joe's character were making when they were younger. You could see it says 1983 down there, and then when it hard cuts to 93, so 10 years later. And the gist of it is they just took this tape and were like, let's just record over it because it doesn't really matter. And that's sort of the idea. Now, the footage itself was from a movie that I was trying to make in 2012, I want to say, and it was like a werewolf movie. So I used a Canon, this is way back in a Kodak Play Sport to film and record this little intro. And then, yeah, it was just from when I was a kid. I was trying to make a werewolf movie with my brother. And I figured, let's just use it for this analog horror series, kind of give it life again, let it be seen, because this is 10-year-old footage essentially. So yeah, so the gist for this is that it's like the tape is cutting out, and now we're seeing these same characters now 10 years later.
I don't know how the camera works, right? I think. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. I guess here we are, right?
Yeah, you got the mic?
Yeah, I got the mic.
Here we go. So I'm in Whitewater, Wisconsin, or sorry, it was City of Whitewater. I'm in the city of Whitewater, Wisconsin, which is known to have a history riddled with the strange and supernatural.
That was good. I like that.
Okay.
You want to do one more?
Let's do one more. That's all the way through. I'm in the city of Whitewater, Wisconsin, which is known to have a history riddled with the strange and unusual. This may be a result of it being...
So, I'll kind of explain a little bit of this. So this opening, this was planned here, right? We were actually pulling up, and Joe was like, let me just film an opening. And it was actually him fiddling with the camera, trying to figure out how to turn it on. This is my old pickup truck, by the way. It's really funny seeing it. You could actually kind of tell that it's a more, like a newer truck. Because you can see, like, here, you can actually see part of the screen. But... because I had like a touch screen thing. But the gist of it is that it's us pulling up, and this right here was not scripted. This part here was genuinely, like we were coming up with this.
Whitewater.
It was supposed to be an actual history video, like a little documentary of him being like, this is the Starin Water Tower. And it was not supposed to be an analog horror thing. It wasn't until we were actually like leaving that I'm like, this would be kind of cool for like a setup. So when he actually messes up here, that's legit. Like, this is actually him breaking character.
Here we go. So I'm in Whitewater, Wisconsin, or sorry, it was City of Whitewater. I'm in the city of...
So that's legit. Like, he actually
Whitewater,
flubbed the line,
Wisconsin,
and I just kept it in.
to have a history riddled with the strange and supernatural.
That was good. I like that.
Okay.
You want to do one more?
Let's do one more. That's all the way through. I'm in the city of Whitewater, Wisconsin, which is known to have...
So, yeah, that's us not playing a character and literally just, we're like, we're just trying to film a documentary, and then we decided later, let's make this into an actual series.
being the birthplace of the nation's only institute of spiritualism. This may
Hold on,
be
we'll
a
go back.
result of it being the birthplace of the nation's only institute of spiritualism in 1889, and the final resting place of its founder, Morris Pratt. Many believe this aroused many restless spirits. The city has come to be known as the country's second Salem, due to the prevalence of witchcraft rumors and other paranormal happenings. One of Wisconsin's first known official parks, Starin Park, was founded in 1888. Its water tower is the second oldest municipal tower in the state. This historic water tower goes by another name, known as the Witch's Tower, as a great number of witches are said to have encircled the tower to perform rituals. The tower is now enclosed by iron
So you can
fence
see the
with metal spikes pointing
spikes that
inward.
kind of point
Is it
in.
to keep people out, or something inside? I'm Joseph Leffler Bell for Firewood Media. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, didn't you park forward?
I think I did.
That's weird.
And that was just, that little end bit is what we filmed to just be like, oh, let's make it kind of spooky. Like, we didn't know that was actually going to be part of the series or not. And it ends up going nowhere, but it was still kind of fun just to add it in.
Right?
So the idea.
If you're wondering what this is, the idea, again, is that we are taping over a pre-existing tape, which is why there's just kind of like random stuff happening. So that's what this is supposed to be. In actuality, I was up north at a cabin, like, again, 10 years ago, and I filmed this of me just trying to play this game, and that was it. And I was just like, I found that footage and was like, yeah, we'll throw it in there. It works. So this here, I was hanging out with my friend Layla, Jesse, Nick, and TJ in Layla's dorm, and we were just like lounging around, and I was like, hey, can we film a scene for this like really quick? And they were like, yeah, sure. So TJ held the camera, and then Jesse was just here, and I was like, Jesse, don't say anything, I'm just gonna start yapping. And he's like, okay. So that's exactly what we did.
Is we make this student film about
Jesse looks so uncomfortable.
Next to Stern Tower.
He's camera shy.
And then
Also, horrible framing. Our crotches are just like exposed to the camera.
from there, but I want to go home this weekend, and I should be back by like Monday or Tuesday because I got class Tuesday.
This was just iPhone footage, by the way. I'll show everyone later how I did this and how I made it look old.
Morning,
So
yeah, that's the plan. I think we should be good otherwise. So.
It's the first time that it has been subjected to chemical analysis since it was discovered.
It's weird that they found, it's like mummies, Egyptian things. They found a head, just a head, and it's got like a hole in the middle of it, in the forehead.
Okay, so if you're wondering what the point of this scene was, the gist of it is, I was testing my camera at the time, and it was this sort of like, it was a handy cam, and I was just filming these turkeys, and my dad was watching some documentary on, like, ancient Egypt. It was like mummification, and I'm just like filming it, and you can hear it in the background. And he was just like, he just walked up to me and just started talking while I'm like filming. And after the fact, I'm like, I like that. I'm just going to keep it in because it's weird and kind of eerie.
This is weird that they found, it's like mummies, Egyptian things. They found a head, just a head, and it's got like a hole in the middle of it, in the forehead.
If you know, well, none of you know my dad, but I'm just saying, it's just funny if you know him because he's just like a very curious person. He's always watching documentaries like that, so he'll always come up to my room and just be like, did you know that blah, 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 blah. So it's just funny just keeping it in like that. I don't know. And then this too, this is legit, this next scene. A chicken of ours went missing, and we were out looking for it, and I was just filming, and then I'm like, oh, I should include this in the footage. Because it is kind of eerie.
One time, remember? You're stuck over here. Because they're so stupid. See, right now what they'll do is they'll just hunker down. And they won't move.
You can hear my fat ass just like gasping for breath there. Oh my god. I'm like dying. Weird.
Yeah, no, there's nothing here. She's gone, which is weird because with us being here, you know?
This chicken did never come back, so it was probably taken by something. Like a coyote or a hawk. Probably not a hawk because we would have found it, but yeah, this shot here I loved because I always thought like it'd be cool if something just like grabbed him, but again, we weren't really filming. This was me just filming just to have video of something, but I love how this looks.
Something's been killing all of our livestock.
This was ADR. I added that.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I added that in after the fact.
This sucks.
You can kind of tell because the mic quality is like very different.
Camera. Took pictures of you. I'm gonna take my boot off.
So this is a setup for a future episode that we actually do get a payoff for. In actuality, again, this is another thing where I was just kind of filming, and we were with my little cousin, and my dad was just showing him this trail cam that we just have set up in our woods. And so I was like, all right, I'll just film this. And then I just like kind of cropped him out, my little cousin, because I didn't really want him in this, because it's weird having kids on the internet, So, yeah. So I just ended up just cropping him, but you can still kind of hear him in the background.
Camera. Took pictures of you.
You can hear him there. So anyways, yeah, that's just the point of this is to establish that we will see some pretty creepy trail cam pictures later in an episode or two. So here we go.
Hey Joe, this is Cole.
You guys like my killer voice acting?
I'm on my way back. There's some weird stuff going on at home. Some livestock got taken away. From what we don't know, but we set up some trail cameras and hopefully we'll be able to catch whatever it is on there. It's probably some fox or something, but anyways, Yeah, so I'm coming back a bit early. Figured I'd kind of get some start on some assignments and everything, so, yeah. I'll see you in a bit. Just driving back now. Peace.
Joe, I'm back. Joe? Come on, man, where you at? I don't remember it holding for that long, so let me kind of explain this. So again, my friend Layla did this video of her dorm, and so I just had her film it. That's why you can kind of see the hand is hidden, because that's obviously not a man hand. It's not this, you know? So we tried to kind of hide that well. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, you can just tell it's kind of just not like a guy's dorm, but, you know, it is what it is. So that's the end of episode 2. Episode 3 is called Lazarus Initiative. Now, this is where we get more actual sort of lore, and we get a bit of an understanding of what this cult is actually trying to do. This is the Adult Swim font, by the way, in case anyone's curious. And this is now where we get more of a point of view from the actual cult now. We get to hear more from them. So, in 1889, Morris Pratt embarked on laying the foundation of the Lazarus Initiative. So he dedicated his life to overseeing the project's development. In 1993, after years of unwavering effort, the initiative finally materialized. Mind you, pay attention to those years. He started it in 1889, and by 1993... it finally materialized, meaning this dude is very old. That's all we're going to say. So 1991, the test had shown great promise, combining technology and spirituality, and the researchers were confident.
Because I followed him last time, and I dumped myself off a 1.5-foot drop without knowing it was coming up. I'll be taking all the rock gardens. I've not been in that town since I come.
So all this footage here was filmed by my buddy Dylan. I gave him a camera. This is from the summer of 2021, I want to say, maybe 2022. And I gave him this camcorder, and I said, just film as much as you want. Fill up this SD card. Give me the footage. So that's what he did. He and you can kind of tell. By the way, this is funny.
I followed him last time, and I dumped myself off a 1.5-foot drop without knowing it was coming up.
Right here, you could see the New California Republic flag from Fallout New Vegas, and this is supposed to be 1990, it looks like. And you can see there's the one head of the bear, there's the other, you can see it says New California. So,
I'm taking all the rock gardens.
I tried to crop it so you couldn't really see it, but yeah.
I've been in that town since I fucking dumped Kaylee, and I'm so happy.
So again, this was just stuff that Dylan just like filmed himself, and then I just included all of it.
8:21. No way. Yeah. You got enough time just for Dylan to pull his pants down. I see that. I'm sweaty. What do you want from me? Not bad. That's for sure. Did you get off the ramp? Bad. I was so tired, I almost fucking crashed. Yeah, you ever slid down that thing? It is not. Especially because it's covered in all the dust and dirt from everybody else riding on it. So.
Yeah,
I think it'd be that one which looks like some sand.
sand is on the other side.
Whatever. That doesn't matter.
So this is different footage, actually. When we were piecing this together, this was all Dylan footage here, you know. All this stuff was. This was all stuff that he filmed. But then with this, I came to the point where I'm like, okay, I need stair and water tower footage, but it'd be cool if all the leaves were dead around it. Like, you see that this is in June. Look at how green this is. And then for this, all the dead trees around this tower, as if, like, nothing can grow there. So that is what we ended up... I ended up just using footage, basically, from that second episode that we filmed a while back. And... and I just added a shake thing, just like I did with the inside of the water tower, and I made it. You know, I just took the audio basically and did this. So it's a Frankenstein. This whole episode's like a Frankenstein mix of all this different footage.
Whatever. That doesn't matter.
There's some dead trees around. What do you think's in there? Wanna go inside?
So, this was really fun to film. What we did was, we got Layla to do, because she does makeup for almost all my projects, she did the makeup for this sort of like face melting effect, and this was its own video. And yeah, this is just all like practical effects, and we just put a light on him, and that was the effect. It was super easy to pull off, actually.
Hey guys, it's Layla.
So this was how she did it.
Dylan.
I'll skip a bit.
It's a new experience.
So how much melting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. So she put like actually I think there's a time lapse at the end. I don't know. She put all this like liquid latex paste on his face, and then from there like you know, let it dry. She used toilet paper too. I don't know. So if you want to see the full tutorial, you can. But so yeah, this was the way that we did that melting face effect type of deal. And then that's how it looked in the final version. But what we then did was we put a red light on him to sort of help blend all that. And with the analog sort of grain, it really made it mesh well. So, yeah, this is where we actually hear now the name Eternum. Eternum is the main sort of monster, the main kaiju that they're building towards here. And this is really where we see that, like, the point of the stair and water tower is to melt them down, and we see, like, their blood levels gradually change and become more, like, mutated. And this is the general idea. Now, this is where it gets super interesting. So researchers noted enlargement of white blood cells during month-long incubation process. And now this part's so creepy. We're proud to announce that every member of the Wisconsin Spiritualist Collective will be involved in the next phase of this groundbreaking project. Members will have their consciousness uploaded into Eternum, granting them eternal existence as an integral part of this magnificent entity. This will be the ultimate form of transcendence, a merging of the human consciousness into something greater, something beyond mortality. Although your physical body will perish and die during the procedure, your soul will live on in eternity as an integral part of Eternum. The stair and water tower will serve as an incubation tank, transforming the collective subject's flesh into Eternum's body. Once the mind and body merge, Eternum will be released from the tower to take its place as the ruler of humanity for all eternity. So that is episode number 3. And this is now where we finally sort of understand the actual like motive behind the cult, what they're doing, where they're trying to resurrect this eldritch kaiju god to take over humanity, and they will serve as essentially the mind of this monster, while the body are the people that end up stupidly going into the tank and then being melted down. So that's why they're near a university, because it's drunk college students that go near here, wander into the tank, get melted down, and then they never hear from them again. So it takes us to episode 4, TNT Monster Vision, 1999. This is me voice acting, by the way.
For next weekend, where we'll have a monster bash for the ages.
I was trying to do like a Crypt Keeper thing, right? The gist of it is that, so, okay, the real life story is, this is my brother. He's in a costume, and I was holding this film festival. It was like a Firewood Media Film Festival for Halloween. 2022, I think, is when we did it. We were gonna have like a host, and it was like the Witch of Whitewater, and that's kind of what this is supposed to be. So I did the voice acting, and Luke just did a bunch of like Luke's my brother, just did a bunch of like funny skits. So that's actually a Gorosaurus figure, the Playmates one, and then that's just like the fake skull that I just have. So, and then he's yapping away, and this is where, for the Godzilla fans, this is where it's gonna get fun.
Weekend, TNT unleashes a rip-roaring end-of-year Monster Vision bash. Saturday, giant mutants hammer Tokyo all night long. Sunday, Godzilla crashes the party. It's a 2-day bash guaranteed to bring down the house. End the year in a big way. Rip into a weekend.
So the idea is that we're building towards 2000, right? This is TNT Monster Vision 1999, and they're talking about New Year's Eve. You know, it's coming up, and this is what we're going to do. So I wanted to kind of center this around Godzilla, because obviously I'm a big fan, and the Monster Vision stuff is just pure nostalgia for me, so that's how I kind of structured this. Now the tape cuts away, and it's assumed that someone recorded over this Monster Vision recording. So this segment was inspired by
a tug pulling me towards something deeper, something beyond the realms of...
So the idea behind this whole thing is it's supposed to be exit member statements. So with the big inspiration was Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was a cult that existed in the 90s, I want to say. And this was them sort of like talking about why they're in the cult and why they're excited to be leaving Earth. If you kind of catch my drift, you know, they're going to go unalive themselves. So anyways, so this is the gist, though, is it's based on a real cult. And this is them sort of giving their exit statements.
Comprehension.
And I had her read from a script because I wanted it to seem like it was just them, like they're being forced to read some of this. So... remember when I said a while back, hey, remember the name Bob Hunnam? Okay, Bob Hunnam was mentioned very briefly here at the end, and we see edited by Bob Hunnam. That's Bob Hunnam here. So he is the guy that edited this video, and now he's being interviewed here, being like, yeah, this is the... yeah. And then now we see, this is Joe from episode 2. He's been kidnapped and brainwashed. So this is him sort of, you could tell he's clearly talking in duress, and I'm trying to find the spot, but we came up with this while we were filming. My brother is military, and the gist was, I asked my brother, like, because he was there helping us film, I go, yeah, here it is. I'm like, is there a military thing for, like, if they're under distress, they're being held against their will, like, what do they do? And he said it was like this. It was like SOS. And so you see Joe do it here.
I really I can't help but marvel at, well, I mean, whatever might very well be happening.
So, oh,
We
here, sorry.
embarked on this quest together in order to unite our consciousness together in eternity.
TNT's New Year's Eve Monster Vision continues on TNT.
So, that is the end of episode 4. We are now on the last episode. This is the Y2K incident. And this is now that Monster Vision New Year's Eve thing. So here we go.
Look what's in the yard here. Big old turkey vulture, because I threw that gopher I shot with the bow in the burning pile, so he's trying to get over to the burning.
So that was filmed by my dad, and it was shot on an actual camcorder from way back in the day, and I just included it because I was like, well, you know, it fits, and it ties in nicely tonally with the turkeys at the start, how they're in snow, and they're these beautiful creatures, and then here now it's nothing more than just a vulture surrounded by grass. Is kind of like a thematic way of tying it all together. So camera glitches out,
Burning pile, so he's trying to get over to the burning.
and it cuts. So from 89, 10 years later now, to 1999. So this is my character trying to find Joe, who was abducted by this cult and brainwashed. And you can see it says the police won't help. And the idea behind this is they are in on it. You know, everyone in this town, it's an institution that is, it's all complicit, basically. They are all in on this Eternum type of cult. And so students are going missing, and the cult is the one that's like covering it up, essentially, and the police are also helping. So this was Joe's high school picture. I was like, hey Joe, can you send me your high school picture, please? And he's like, okay. And then this is what we did with it. So yeah. And also it's been what would this be, 6 years since he went missing. My character's still looking for him. And now we got some Godzilla.
TNT's New Year's Eve Monster Vision continues on TNT.
So here's those trail cameras then from episode 2. This is what they're seeing. Oh, I forgot about this. That actually made me jump for a second. I completely forgot. God damn it. I forgot all about this.
I hope you're having a monstrously good time watching this creature feature. Remember, as the clock strikes midnight, may your screams be loud, your shivers spine-tingling, and your year ahead filled with all things delightfully devilish.
I was doing like a Joker thing, like Mark Hamill Joker. That was kind of the idea behind it, was that it was this sort of, like, I don't know, like, Batman, like very comic booky. But yeah, so it was just supposed to be kind of cartoony. You know, like that was the whole idea for this recording.
Till next time, my eerie admirers, stay frightfully fiendish. fiendish and keep those
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Sorry.
delightfully devilish.
Delightfully devilish. This... Yeah, that's a Simpsons reference for anyone that... He goes, oh,
devilish, Seymour.
Delightfully devilish, Seymour. So that's a reference to The Simpsons. But, yeah. Anyways.
Until next time, my eerie admirers, stay frightfully fiendish and keep those nightmares alive. Happy New Fear!
Happy New Fear. Okay.
The city's been invaded by Godzilla.
I forgot I did that.
Weather Service in the state of Wisconsin has issued a tornado warning for the town of Whitewater, Waukesha County, Jefferson County, Malvern. The staring water tower has fallen. We need your help. Please approach the rubble. There are people trapped. Do not seek shelter. Do not seek shelter. Step outside of your home. Eternal awaits.
I genuinely forgot about this specifically. Oh yeah, I remember this shot. Yeah. And then there's the big money shot, the Eternum. And that concludes A Town Called Whitewater. So, let's kind of break this down a bit. So, it's destroy all monsters. Then it's cut off by the emergency broadcast system. Now, this shot here was from when I was making a movie called Pesticide, and someone was that we filmed at their house. They were renovating it, and they were like flipping it, or whatever the story was. I can't really remember, but they were flipping this house, and the gist of it was that I was just kind of like filming this like hole that they had in the wall, and I just held on to that footage, and I'm like, oh, I'll use it for a different project, and then this is what I used it for, and I just kind of colored everything like a weird sort of green tint. This was just my blinds. The sky did not look like that. It was just, you know, I color corrected all this stuff in Premiere. And then now we've got this, which is from Another Day Closer to the Sun, which is a different feature film that I made, where we were driving and I was just filming my eyes, and it was at night, and it was streetlights going overhead, which is why you can see it's kind of moving a bit. You can see I'm kind of like moving like this, and it's because I'm in a car, but it's just supposed to be I'm just looking outside the window. And this is just filming the sky when a storm was coming. And then this was also from Another Day Closer to the Sun. And then this was just when it was really foggy out. I was just kind of filming it. And then, yeah, so let's break down this money shot here, because people are asking how I did this. This was Blender. The idea was to make it look... Someone said, I'm assuming like Evangelion, and like an angel from Evangelion, which, yeah, that is kind of the idea. It was that and like Ultraman and then H.P. Lovecraft. Basically, if H.P. Lovecraft designed an Ultraman monster, that was the main sort of idea. It's a giant cell, you know, it's like supposed to almost look like an embryo of sorts in a way too. And look up top, you could see like the tentacles like fizzle. And I wanted to make it was like almost like boiling. And you can see it gradually move, and the legs are kind of like moving like this. But that's it. I'm not good at animating in Blender. I would kill to actually get better at this. I'm going to start practicing soon, but this is the best that I could really do. Was just the sort of stationary shot as it sort of like looms in on the protagonist. But something else that's kind of interesting is here. Listen to what's being said. The stair and water tower has fallen. We need your help. Please approach the rubble. There are people trapped. Do not seek shelter. Do not seek shelter. Step outside of your home. Eternum awaits. So, again, the emergency broadcast system itself is in on this too. They are trying to get people, and so it's supposed to be this like federal level of like collusion with this cult. So that would have been built up more in season 2, but I might make that, I might not. It just kind of depends on various factors. But yeah, so that is Eternum. That is A Town Called Whitewater, which is my analog horror series, season 1. So yeah, Eternum, one of my favorite monsters of the bunch. And then, so if you're curious, if you want to watch it, you can go here, A Town Called Whitewater full series, and then here's all the individual episodes. I did a making of, and then also I talked about the face melting, how Layla did that special effect. So